everybody, we're here in the basement again, just taking some time to look through some of Dad's artwork that's here and thinking about it, talking about it. So let's start. Now here in this painting, which is on board, Dad is exploring a sand dune or a different kind of landscape that we're not usually so aware of every day. And the sky is got kind of linear clouds in it, and there's a mountain at the top, and at the bottom it goes down into a valley with some rocks. So this is a really evocative painting, I think, and it's actually an image that he carries over into a couple more paintings, and I'm sure he has tons of sketches. Here's another one. You can see the working here of the texture in the broken landscape. It's like a gash, and it goes down into a valley, and again the mountains, and then the sky above. This is a larger piece, of course. And here we have an almost explosive sky with the mountain really prominent above the opening of the sand dune, going down into the rocky valley below. Dad grew up here on Vancouver Island and has done quite a few works that represent our specific city or area, and they really emote a feeling for me, a reminder of childhood and good times in the garden, or just interacting with the landscape here. This is one such painting, which is actually looks like a backyard. You can see the fence in the this area here. That's the fence, and then the skinny little oak trees growing up, and the cultivated look of the grass in the garden, and shrubbery and whatnot. This is a real Victoria painting, I think, but it might be somewhere else. I'll have to ask Dad. That's a road, and you can see the waterfront in the background and the islands beyond that. And the time of the year seems to be the fall, with the fall colors. And the sky is gorgeous here, with light emanating from the back island, as well as the clouds going across the sky. So I'll get back to you on where exactly that is. Here's another that reminds me of the back garden that I grew up in, with the trees growing out of the grass. Could just be like a Gary oak meadow also, with the grass dried in the summer. And the trees are lifting up to the heavens. And again, the sky is kind of bursting forth behind. So Dad's love of landscape is really obvious and in this painting. Here's one that reminds me of an Emily Carr-ish type style that Dad has. And the little white tree kind of dancing in the background there, and the Douglas fir around. Here's another tree painting. This one's quite interesting with the orange and yellow, use of orange and yellow. Seems to be more like a forest fire, but I'm not sure that that was his intention, as the trees seem to be coming out of it unscathed. Some of Dad's more environmental statement pieces are of clear cuts. And this is a stump that looks like it's broken off or burnt amongst a clear cut. And Dad, of course, is more on the side of planting trees and maintaining old growth forests. So this is a statement piece of his. And he's got a couple more. I'll just see if I can find them. Okay, well, it'll pop out as when we find it. Some of Dad's work, again, are very British Columbia oriented, with the islands and the waterfront. Here's one that is really full of interest with the brush strokes, and the sky is really just a bursting sky like some of the other ones that we've seen. And here he's using blue actually in the island in the distance to give some depth and also to interact with the sky and the sea. The unity in this picture is really interesting. The unified landscape with the ocean, the sky, and the sea all together, and harmonious together. Here's a shift of direction with a mountain and just an exploration of this peak and the sky around it and the shapes within the mountain. This is an interesting landscape with just the dried grass and the bush in the center, and the focus is really, I think, not just on the bush but on the sky, and it really combines a lot of different elements. What I'm looking at mostly though is the interaction between the bush and the sky. Here's a smaller piece, and there you see a stream going through what seems to be a dried grassy field in the summer out to the hills in the distance, or coming from the hills in the distance into the foreground. Again, the sky is really bursting, and you can see the cloud work there. Really intricate, actually. Some of Dad's work that carried on into his abstract work, he was working with the image of a cross or barbed wire preventing us from entering a space. And in this painting, you can see that the barbed wire is cutting us off from this landscape, which seems utopic, and the gray hills seem a little sad, but it looks like a summer or fall scape, and the barbed wire image is quite poignant. Here's almost a desert landscape with the barbed wire and preventing us to enter. I'll just run some more of his landscapes by you. This one's a luscious forest and mountain perspective. And here are some islands floating in a bath of a sea. Seems like a happy island. I'm going to repeat something later. Okay, here's another painting of islands in the sea. Very British Columbia. Beautiful British Columbia. And here's a red hill in amongst the blue grays. This one almost seems to have angels in the sky if you look up close. Seems to be little characters floating around above the greenery and the mist. Very interesting piece. This is just a study in charcoal. And here's another perky mountain with a joyful sky and what's more of a autumn landscape with reds and oranges and umber. Ochres and umbers. Now this is a piece that reminds me of, again, my childhood and growing up. This is a piece that is a sunset from the balcony. It's on board, it's just very thin, but isn't that different? Very different direction. And going back to more of the Emily Carr-esque kind of paintings with the tree trunks and trees in more of a forest environment. And here's a really different one, more architectural and still a really interesting little church, I think it is, school or church. So thank you for taking a look at some of my dad's work, and I hope you enjoy it. I sure enjoy looking at it with you, and the perspectives that we can share on this work hopefully will enlighten us a bit. So thanks and take care.